Welcome to the Mental Health Show. My name is Shamika Samuels. Oh, it's just a rainy day today, but we here gonna do this mental health show, and we have a special episode today. It's a special theme episode. It's called gravity waves actually. So gravity waves is like a mental health of basketball and mental health relationships, and this is like kind of like a thing that I was working on since 2 weeks ago. And one thing I learned about, doing this show is that when I plan ahead, I plan like 3 weeks in advance of the show. So it's kind of like I just plan one day, I just plan the next day, and I just do it like kind of like a flavor. They call it the flavor of love. That's what they call it, right? So the flavor of love. So today is like a kind of a little flavor of love and a little flavor of revelation, the flavor of the meaning of basketball wellness, right? So I've been working on my fashion show gala. It's been doing so. Everybody asked me how it's been coming along. It's been coming along very well. We are actually in the process of doing the kids auditions. I'll be posting the flyers on this episode of the show, and I'll be doing the kids special episode with the kids. Yeah, I just like special episode with the kids. And this will be on July 17th. So no, yeah, July 17th is gonna be a Friday evening. I'm trying to get the bigger studio to do the episode, so it's gonna be a special episode where I'm gonna be doing a live stream with the kids, and we're gonna be having a special announcement with the children's episode. So let's get into that. And also, before we get into today's episode, we're going to talk about this coming. We're gonna talk about a little bit more about what we're doing for the fashion show, and also I have a new podcast I'm gonna be dropping coming soon to Eminem. So let's talk about the new podcast. So the new podcast I'm gonna be dropping for Eminem is called Basketball Wellness Management Show. It's gonna be more about wellness and also be talking more about opportunities where we're gonna be interviewing a couple of people, and the topic of discussion is what is mental health basketball, and we're gonna be talking about that as well as we're gonna have a special guest on my show, and she's a mother boys, and she have a daughter too. So we have we I actually have it set up. I'm gonna be setting up a little meeting with my special guest, and she will be at the event in October. And the event in October is gonna be very very good because we're gonna be having a community talk, and the community talk is gonna be like a I could tell you what the community talk will be about. And the community talk is gonna be a community talk, and this will be the first time me and nephew will be on set for the first time in almost 12 years. And we're gonna be sitting at the studio. We're gonna be out there, and we're gonna be sitting talking about mental health awareness weekend. It's gonna be about basketball wellness and also a fashion show, and the theme about the fashion show is gonna be the power of love in relationship. And it's gonna be inspiring because we're going to be talking about how we first met, and we're going to be talking about how we became friends and how we became close whatever like that. And the flyer will be printed out in July. We're going to be posting it on Manhattan Neighborhood Niggas going to be posting the flyer inside the studio so we guys could see it inside the studio. We're going to be printing out probably in July. So I'm going to show you how it's going to look like for the oh jeez, I did it wrong. I'm gonna show you how it looks like for the flyer for this. I can show it to you right now. Oh Lord. Okay, this is how it's gonna look like. And then I have the first flyer. This is gonna be my flyer, and this is gonna be the basketball wellness fashion show. And the theme of the show is gonna be power of changing your mind. And the first location we're gonna be booking it for October 2nd, and then the second location will be on the 3rd. So this is gonna be the style of mind, power, and purpose. And the reason why I was talking to one of the staff members at Eminem about it is because this will be the first event that I'm going to be doing at M&M for this will be the first event that I'll be doing at M&M. And the thing about it is that when I do my events, I'm the life of the party. So at the end of the day, when I'm the life of the party, I come in with a positive energy and I just go in it, And yeah, so the flyers will be printed out in the at the end of July, and I'll be posting the flyers in the studio and also posting the flyers in the community. So you guys could come check me out, and you guys could come check out Basketball Wellness. It will be a sensation. It's gonna be based on basketball wellness, and I have the sweater on, so guys could come and check me out. And the next episode of Mental Health Show, I'm gonna be posting all Actually, this gonna be. I have two different types of things that we're gonna be talking about today. So let's get into today's episode, and then at the end of the show, I'm gonna talk to you about what I'm working with the basketball wellness affordable housing plan. I actually have a plan to improve affordable housing, and I'm also gonna be doing a event called is an event that's gonna be every first of the month. I'm gonna be doing a meeting. I'm actually planning a meeting. It's gonna be a meeting where we meet every first Saturday of the month, and we're gonna be discussing more about the Building Improving Building Fund program. And it's gonna be a program where we come together and we talk about ways how to improve the building, to improve certain type of things that we need to improve in our life and also in affordability. And that's will be for the next episode of the Mental Health Show. And this will be a sensational improvement of what we're going to be talking about today. So let's get into it. All right. So the episode theme is basketball, mental health, and relationships. So a special announcement. Let's go over the special announcements for the kids. The kids in the ages. All right. So special announcement for the kids in the age of children. The special episode of the Mental Health Show. It's going to be fun. Children will be asked questions about what they want to be when they grow up and what is their favorite sport. So the flyer will be posted in the building. I'm going to upload the flyers on the Mental Health Show so you guys can see what we're working with. Is a sample of the flyer. So I'm going to be posting it on the show. All right. So let's get into it. So my question to the people of the world, the global world, and the world of Flatbush, Brooklyn, Long Island. If you guys are watching me from Long Island, Flatbush, Brooklyn, big up to East Flatbush and Community, Nostrand Avenue between Albemarle and Snyder. Big up to yourselves, and also big up to my crew at 1543. We actually get in the hang of, y'all my biggest fans. Y'all been supporting me from day one. So I wanted to thank you guys for that. And also thank you for people up at Utica Avenue, Utica and Church, Utica and Utica and Flatbush, also the Flatbush Junction community as well. So I want to thank you guys for all the support and all the love, And also big up yourself to Clarendon Road, big up yourself. Utica and Clarendon, I have people over there, the biggest fans, Ralph Avenue, Canarsie. I know people watching me from Canarsie, Brooklyn. So East New York, all over the globe, Also have people, fans from California watching me, people from Florida, Georgia, Virginia. I have a lot of people in Washington, Seattle. Everybody's watching me globally, and they've been watching my show, and they wanted me to come down for the tour. And I also want to big up to East Harlem and West Harlem. I'm a big fan of Harlem. I've been in Harlem a lot of times doing my content creating work in Harlem. So I'll be back down in Harlem to do my basketball wellness tour. So Harlem, big up yourself to Harlem, and the Bronx, in the Boogie Down Bronx, Queens, all over the globe, been watching me, big up yourself, and let's get into the episode. You feel me? How many want me to get into the episode? Raise your hand. I know you do. All right, let's get into it. All right, so my question to the people is, what is mental basketball health? So what is it that you're referring to mental basketball health? Write this down. Mental basketball health refers to the psychological, emotional well-being of becoming a basketball player before and during and after participating in the sport. It's involving It's involving how you manage your playbook. It's how you manage yourself, and also you have to understand how you manage yourself is how you grow in playing ball. And certain things is that when you play basketball, it's all about communication. It's all about how you can reflect on your teammates and how you communicate with others. And this is the thing I teach Buzzerman. He's watching me, my son. So big up to Buzzerman, my son, and also my Joshua Layla, Imani. All my kids. Big up yourself, and they be watching me. And I love you too. Right? Yeah. So I always teach Buzzerman this, and I always tell him this. When you manage yourself in life, you gotta know how to play. You have to know when to play a sport and know how to interact with your teammates. You cannot be a ball hogger. You have to know how to interact with yourself and know how to interact with people. For you to be good with yourself, you gotta know when to interact with people. And the thing about interacting with people is that when you build on culture, you have to build on your faith, you have to build on your mental health, and you also have to build on what it is that you have to grow to and what is it that you have to ask yourself questions about. A lot of people have questions about basketball wellness and about mental health. And the one thing I want to say to you is that mental health and basketball is all about communication. And number one is about communication and playing the sport right. And then one thing about relationship, you have to play your cards right. And it's not about let's say it's not about playing in a relationship pattern. It's more about playing your cards right in a relationship. And I'm gonna tell you the truth is that it's like when you're growing and when you're building up your relationship, it's also referring to preparing yourself for different values and respect. And that's what it is. But sometimes your respect and your values is different because when you play your cards right, you gotta know to play your cards right before you pick your battle. And sometimes your battle is like I could be in my battle rhythm and I could be in my soft rhythm, but sometimes my battle rhythm is more about running the game and running the plays. And sometimes my paycheck and listen, I tell people this, my paycheck doesn't run my money. But every time when I run my money, I have to run it in the way how I want to run it. But sometimes I can't say that I could talk money and I can't talk the plan about getting money. And the thing about money is that when you post something online about your event, you gotta know people gotta show. And you gotta understand people gotta show to support you. It doesn't matter if they wanna I tell people, you can't buy a product if you don't come and support the product. You don't know the product until you wear the product. And you see when I wear the products on my show, people say, "Oh, I want to buy it because I know that if I wear it on the show, I get good publicity, or I said publicity or good comments on what it is that I'm doing for the show." But sometimes my mental health is more about becoming more proactive and how I will grow in my satisfaction. And the thing about becoming satisfaction is that when you have a mental creation is more about becoming participating in what it is that you have to understand. And this is what it is. And number one is called stress and pressure during the game. When you have stress, if you go through a lot of stress, how many of you go through a lot of stress in relationship, raise your hand. And how many of you argue with your baby father or your baby mother, raise your hand. I know you do. I know you do, right? So in the arguments, you don't know who's right or wrong, right? You don't know who plays the cards and who plays you don't know who plays the cards in your relationship, and you don't know when. I tell people when you lie down with somebody, you get them pregnant. You got to you're in it till the child turns 18. I tell the people you're in it till the child turns 18 because you have to understand when you grow up and you realize when you lay down with a person and you know the person want a pitney and you lay down with somebody and you know that meant that you're stressed. To becoming a father is hard. You should not lay down with a person if you know the stress is going to be hard for you. You know what I'm saying? But I think that in relationship, it's more about playing your cards right before you do certain things in your life that you will regret. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about it is that your confidence and your self-esteem is number two, right? And number three is focus and stop. Let me tell you, focus and stop concentrating on the negative and put yourself in the positive. You know what I'm saying? Start focusing on motivating yourself and disciplining yourself. Right? Start building up relationships as a coach. And as you coach your relationship, is be able to become a team of the relationship. And sometimes, let me tell you, sometimes when you be able to build up a team of relationship, it's more about having the ability to have a relationship as one culture. And the one thing about culture is that the respect is that when I turn around and I look at somebody and I'm looking at a person, I'm pretending I'm looking at somebody, and I'm like, if I know a relationship, how will you feel about one person? And the person, when I turn back around and look at the camera, I'm like, this is not what it means to be disciplined. It means that when I turn around and I'm looking at somebody, pretend I'm looking at a person, and I'm asking, what is it that I will grow in relationship? But a person will say, "Oh, I don't know." But if you don't know, why are you ask why are I'm asking you a question if you don't know the answer to the question, right? So you have to understand the situation is that one person have to realize that when your mental health is in attack, what they call it, in contact with yourself, you gotta know how to put yourself in a pattern and put yourself as a principle. And sometimes your pattern and principles defines who you are as a precept. And your precept is this: when I go live, right? I could go live anytime, and what's the relationship with the audience, and how the audience will develop your plan as building up what your mental health will become. And the thing about it is, when you become more active in your life and more patterns and principles in your life, you have to know that sometimes your goals and opportunities will define what your principles are and what your mental health strategies are, right? And sometimes you have to deal with a lot of pressure in that relationship. And sometimes the relationship that you're going through, it has a principle power that wherever I go to a patterns of life, is all about having a correlation of what it is that I'm doing and what it is that I'm improving and what it is that I'm achieving in my life, right? So reaction to win or losing and mistakes, right? And anxiety, frustration, and disappointment, and balance between basketball and personal life. hmm But the example of it is that if a player becomes stronger in your life, right, and the player becomes stronger in your life and mental health basketball, it may misses the game of winning. But sometimes your winning stages is becoming your losing stages. But sometimes when you're winning life, it's all about becoming the building up your patterns and your principles. I could walk on stage and I could feel like, okay, America is gonna change something. No, but I decided to turn independent is because independent in voting is mean that I cannot vote in a primary of certain type of candidates, but I could vote in elections of when I feel who's the right person for a job that they could continue doing. And the reason why I decided to turn independent is that I went to PS 181. I want to big up to PS 181 because PS 181 has been. I never used to go to that school, but PS 181 they saw my shirt, and they were like, the principal saw my shirt. He's like, I like your shirt. I like how you do it. I like how you do it. I said, I wanted to give back to the community, and I want to do this because I feel like giving back to the community. So what I was doing for the kids, I'm planning a bus ride next year for the kids, and I want to take the kids to Donny Park to celebrate their last day of school, and to get them, into basketball wellness, right? So I'm planning a bus ride on, I think is Saturday, June 26th. I think it is. I think it's the 26th, and then let me pull up. I have the flyer on me. Hold on. It's okay. It's Saturday, June 26th, and then Saturday, July 17th for Hershey Park. And the reason why I'm planning this trip is that I want it to be a basketball wellness tour. And let's talk about the tour real quick because we're gonna talk about the tour. And the tour is gonna be activities of the 3-point shooting contest, free throw challenges, dribbling skill course, youth and mini clinics, physical stretches and sessions, and wellness talk. I will be doing a wellness talk at Donny Park and Hershey Park. It's an event that I'm planning that I will partner with Donny Park and Hershey Park to host an event where I'm going to be talking about wellness talk, where I could bring the kids to have fun, and it's going to be a place where we're going to do 3-point shooting challenges, free throw challenges, dribbling skills courses, youth mini clinics and physical, and fitness stretch sessions and wellness talk. But let me tell you something. I always do a promotion of this basketball wellness tour. I always do promotions. Let's go back to what I was doing. I do promotion tours. Like when I go on tour, I do promotions where the first 25 people that comes to the event, you get a I think I do a promotion because we started working on promotions for my brand. So the promotion deal is if you is I think it's the first 20 people that comes to the event, you get a percentage off on your order. So usually if your order is like $50, we actually if your order is like $65 and up, we actually deduct I think 20.5% off your order, and you get it down. I think we get it down to $40. I think it is right. So it's like you usually when I do that, it's more likely it's doing a promotion where the promotion is gonna be like, okay, I fly it out, I'm doing it big, I'm doing it good, and you get the promotion out on a level of choices. But sometimes with mental health, it's more about becoming becoming more anxious before you play a sport, right? So when I'm more anxious, I'm more learning mistakes instead of I learn mistakes before I fix them. So when I learn mistakes, sometimes I can't learn how to get up and walk off the set and think that's okay. No, I have to learn how to know how to sit through a segment and learn how to believe in yourself and learn how to become stronger in my segments. Sometimes my segments could be weaker and sometimes my segments could be straightened out. But if I straighten myself out in the beginning of the segment, I have to learn how to become I have to learn how to become vigil. Let me tell you, I have to learn how to become vigil, and I have to learn how to become vigil in vigil. They call it vigil. Like let me write this down. Visual communication of the welling of composing your life. But if I digital camera myself into a lens when I could change my lens a little bit more, I could change my lens and become different with my lens. But if my lens are not changed, and let me say this one more time. If my lens are not changed, you not have the opportunity to change a lens if your lens are not changed. And when my lens are different, I gotta know when to strategize my lens before I could change myself, and I have to know who I'm talking to before I standardize my self esteem, right? How many of you believe in being experienced when you experience pressure in your life? How many of you experience pressure in your life? Raise your hand. I know when you experience pressure in your life, it's because let me tell you the reason why you experience because mentally you're not able to challenge yourself in mental health. You're not able to challenge yourself into removing the pressure that you have in your life. Sometimes when you're challenging yourself, you have to know how to seek support. And if you let me say everyone that you have to know how to seek support because sometimes when you feel like if you feeling the pressure, like okay, I'm feeling the pressure in playing basketball. But if I feel the pressure playing basketball, I have to know how to define what my truth and what my peace of mind is before I drill myself and make it the biggest mistake of my life. And sometimes the biggest mistake in my life is this. I can't just talk on the show and say, okay, I'm going to talk about a topic and then the people don't like the topic. Oh, a lot of people don't like the topic because the topic is that it most likely that will make them feel uncomfortable, and that's the reason why I don't talk about the topic because the topic that I speak about is more mental health than more than the topic that I was supposed to talk about. But sometimes the topic I talk about is more about being anxious and being what mind connected. All right, it's more about being mind connected. But being mind connected is more about learning your mistakes and how you could fix your mistakes. Right. So that's what it is. So I'm gonna give you about 6 things, and I want you to write this down. So a player with strong mental basketball health may miss a game-winning shot but stay composed. Learning from your mistakes instead of dwelling on them. Communicate positively with teammates. Maintain confidence during a shooting strong shooting they call it shooting strong like shooting strength, right? Seeking support when you're feeling overwhelmed, right? So you seek support when you feel overwhelmed. Sometimes when you feel overwhelmed, you have to seek support. It doesn't matter if your support is seeking help. It's seeking the help that you need to help. If it's financial help, you seek that financial help. If it's more emotional support, you seek the emotional support, right? But sometimes your mental health state of mind defines your principle, and how you grow is how you it's how listen, it's how you grow, it's how you become stronger. And I tell you, people, it's how you grow, it's how you become stronger. Sometimes when you strategize your life, it's more about strategizing your time. When you build up your mental health, is no, they call it creating a change of your lens. And your lens is where you change your lens. Is more about building up your development of the plan of what you're doing and what your lifestyle may look like. And that's what you call about changing your lens, right? So change your lens is like changing your vibe, right? Change your vibe, right? Change that vibe, right? Let's continue. All right. So a player struggles with mental basketball health may become extremely exhausted before a game, and they lose confidence sometimes. You withdraw your teammates. You actually withdraw yourself from teammates and friends. You actually experience burnouts from consenting to pressure, and you're feeling that the value depends on entirely on the performance that you do, right? So the basketball mind connection is only Basketball is only not just a physical game, it's also a mental game, playing consistently, making decisions, and managing emotions and responding to pressure, strong mentally, health, and improving. And the number one thing that I like to say, I want to congratulate the New York Knicks for making the decision making of making the championship, right? And they develop teamwork. They develop leadership. They reconcile their differences, and they overwhelm performance. Right. So they actually did it because they want to win. Right. They want to get the champion. They want to win. But sometimes you have to realize that mental health is improving, and the mental health is more improving and more making decision making of how you manage to be emotional of it. Right. All right. So so that's what it is. Right. That's what it really means. Right. So to be overwhelmed about this, right? To be overwhelmed about this, right? You have to define basketball as your goal, right? As your identity, your true identity, and what your true identity is what your true thoughts are, right? So so a simple definition of mental health basketball is the ability to think clearly and manage emotions, cope with pressure, and maintain healthy relationship while participating in basketball. It helps players perform in their best and enjoy the game while protecting their emotional well-being. All right. So number one, what is a decision making? And I want you to write this question down. What is your decision making of making the best decision of your relationship? What is the best way to deal with coping with your relationship with a person that you're going through? Is it even with your baby father, your baby mother, or even with a girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife, partner? What is the decision making that you have to make as far as develop an increase of your life? And whatever the decision is, whatever the decision is in your life, you gotta know how to face the decision, right? You have to know how to make that decision, and that involves in what? Let me finish. It involves in, let's say, let me answer the question for you. Decision making, that is a progress of choosing the best course and of action from two or more alternatives to achieve a goal or solve a problem. And number one is identifying the problem or the situation. And number two is gathering. Let me finish that part. I just like that part right there. Gathering. All right, gathering reformation information. So you're gathering reformation information for you to know how to solve the problem in your relationship, right? Yep. Number three, consider a possible alternative. And number four, evaluate the advantages of disadvantages of each opinion. All right. So you have to know how to evaluate certain things that you have to do in order for you to build up your mental health. And sometimes your mental health is like this. I can't go to a person and say, how can I build up a relationship with somebody if the person doesn't I want to have a relationship with me? Right? But sometimes the person don't have a relationship with me, I'm gonna tell them to get their hell out, and they don't want to have a relationship with me. How I'm gonna stick to you? How I'm gonna stay by your side if you they don't want a relationship? You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you don't want to do something in your life, then go. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna force you to stay in a relationship with me if you don't want to. If you don't want what I want. You know what I'm saying? What I want is what you want, and what you want is what I want. And sometimes you just have to picture yourself as a what? As a walking trophy, right? So you have I always say nothing this. I always make her laugh. But I say, oh God, but always I make her laugh though. I always tell Nephew this though, cause she's watching my show, right? I said, my girl, yo, walking trophy. Oh yeah, I always say, all right, I always say to her, my girl, you walking trophy. Me say, all right, me say. Hey girl, when you're pretty and you're bad, when no say you look good and a good body, right? Exactly. I always say that, right? I always say that because I always give her a compliment, right? But if she doesn't want to be in a relationship with a person, I can't force her to stay in a relationship with somebody if she don't want to be involved in a relationship. I have to give her some time for her to regroup before I say, okay, we could sit down and talk about things like that. But at the end of the day, I could say, okay, I'm gonna regroup, or say, okay, if I could make a choice, I could change something. That one of the things that she want to change is the way how we talk to each other. And the thing about it is, you can't just talk to somebody and go to bark and curse. Nah, you got able to understand what you want and how you're gonna get to that position. What you want is what you're gonna receive, and how you receive it is how you're gonna get to that point. And this is the point right here. I could I could levelize my thoughts before I just say, all right, I can't go say get the hell out. I can't tell her that because I have to revise my thoughts before I say certain things. And I can't say certain things I'm going to regret because sometimes when I regret certain situations, I can't say certain things that will make her feel uncomfortable. Because sometimes I can't say, okay, I'm gonna make you feel uncomfortable saying what I think. No, and whatever I think, I gotta respect her opinion. She respect mine, and I respect hers. That's it. And that's what relationship is become. Is based on evaluating the adventures and disadventures of each opinion. If she has an opinion about certain things, I have to learn how to evaluate that opinion and respect that opinion before I say something that I regret. And that's what it is. But things I don't feel uncomfortable with a woman like to dress in. I could say this one more time. I'm not gonna judge, but I'm not even judge. I'm gonna say this on my show because I'm not gonna judge a person. But I don't feel comfortable when a woman like to dress copy what I have on because that's disrespectful towards a person. And that identifies the problem that I'm going through is a person that want to copy me and dress like me because they want to be a heterosexual like me. Being a heterosexual, let me say this one more time. Let me say it one more time. Being a heterosexual is not a choice; it's a decision. Let me say it to you one more time. Becoming a heterosexual is not a choice; it's a decision that you have to make. Right? But a person that's copying you and dressing like you, they're not identified as a man. Right? They are a woman, but they dress like as a boy. You know what I'm saying? But as a heterosexual, it was not a choice that I made. It was a decision that I chose to make because I identify myself as a man because I chose to be one. I did not say I was born like that. No, I chose to be a person as a man, a heterosexual man, because I was born with a genetic condition that genetically identify me as a man, not a woman. You know what I'm saying? But if I feel as a brother, they respect me. All the brothers respect me as a brother, not a sister, because I'm not no baby. You know what I'm saying? I'm a brother just like you, right? But I'm not going to. You're not gonna disrespect me for make me feel uncomfortable if you're dressing copying what I'm wearing because that's disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? You have to show respect for me. For me to give you respect, you have to gain that respect. Yes, sir. For me to give you the trust, you have to gain that trust. Yes, what I'm saying. So let's continue. And I know you. How many of you love the? How many of you love the episode? Raise your hand. I know you. I know you do. I know you do. All right. So how many like me if we continue? Raise your hand. All right, man. Continue. All right. So one of the things I want to continue is reviewing the outcomes of your life. Right? So sometimes when I review my life, I review it as a different obstacle course. And sometimes wherever my obstacle course is, I have to build that life as a what pattern. Right? So my pattern is a principle. And at the end of the day, I want to big up to Pastor Jamal because Pastor Jamal preached a message 2 Sundays ago about he said he was listening to my podcast and he said he was listening to Shami. And I want to big up to him. He always listens to my podcast, man. He always listens to my podcast. He was listening to my message and he said that he liked how I talk because he said that he was telling the congregation, he was saying to the congregation that whether you're studying in your life, pretending that you're something that you're not, and you're actually gaining the respect that you're not getting. You have to understand, as an organization and as a church organization, you have to not judge to not condemn. And I say you can't judge and not condemn. So if a person feels that they're heterosexual, that's their choice, and they choose to do that because they don't want to be judged and having them calling them something that they're not. You understand what I'm saying? So that's the reason why I made that choice to identify the problem so I could fix the situation. Right? So when everybody saw me coming up a piece when I went walking as a man, they respect me. And the supervisor was like, I like how you talk because they like how I roll. Because they like how I work, right? I don't gossip in the room. I don't gossip in the office. I come here to work and I come here to work. I don't come here to play. Because if I play with somebody, I supposed to decide whether or not that I want to build up I want to build up a opportunity that I could create something in myself. Yeah, I could. But if I could do that, how I could gasper it in a way of life. And the thing about the way of life is that I could compare the factors, right? Let me for example, I could compare the factors, and I could reduce, eliminate noisy levels that comfort the available resources. But I could eliminate certain things, and I could decide whether to study at home or the library. I could decide where I want to do my show. I want to do it at the studio, and I could do it because I'm actually setting up. I think I'm actually setting up something at home actually. That I'm setting up on what do they call it? I'm setting up a studio at home actually. That when I get to my I haven't told you the surprise yet. I'm actually setting up an office space at my house, not at this not at where I'm living at. I'm actually in the process of moving to a newer location. So I'm telling you, a newer location is a newer environment, right? So I'm gonna actually setting up something at home where me and Neffy gonna be doing a show together. I didn't tell you, but me and her gonna be doing a show together, and we're gonna be talking about like mental health and basketball wellness and everything like that. And she's gonna be talking about like wellness in taking care of yourself. And she's more likely she does hair, and I do film. I like to content create, whatever like that. We're gonna start doing Twitch streaming where we're gonna be talking to audience online, right? And we're gonna be doing like we're gonna be doing it like the show gonna be airing like every, I think it's like every two, I think it's every we're gonna be recording the show probably every night actually. So one night we're gonna be a 24-hour stream, and then we're gonna be doing like a 24-hour stream, and we're gonna stay online for 24 hours, and we actually gonna be building up a lot of audience and a lot of meet and greet. So we actually gonna be planning to doing that coming soon, right? So that I could discuss that in a later day, right? Later time. So let's continue the episode, right? So the finding decision making. Define decision making, right? Making decision is to process and select one alternative, several possibility options that to achieve desired objects. And the one decision making is important in your personal life, education, business, management, because it helps people organize, achieve their goals, effectively teamwork, engaging skill knowledge, elevating your skills development in your team members, identifying your weakness and presenting your strength, and selecting your best strength, right? Comparing your success with your strengths, creating positive environments that encourage growth and how we work, right? Write these three things down. You're gonna have a positive. You're gonna have a proactive environment, a knowledgeable environment, and a lead environment. You're gonna mentoring environment. Excuse me, powering environment and growth environment. You're gonna have a strategy environment, resource environment, and love environment. So production meaning of your own success and patterns of success and principles of knowledge that defines destiny. It depends on your own words, right? So the episode that we're gonna talk about is gravity waves, and I'm gonna read this to you if you don't mind. And if you don't mind me reading it to you, if you don't mind. So basketball. So our episode theme is basketball, mental health, and relationships. So I'm on the basketball court, right? Pretend I'm on the court. I can't get up to do this. I could get up and do this because I have to like. Right. So pretend I'm on the court, right? I'm on a basketball court and gravity always present in always every jump shot rebound. And a dunk style depends on what it is that I'm doing, right? So the emotional waves that rebels outbursts of players' actions and mood of struggles. Opening act. Okay, so Jordan is one of the characters that I made because I wear Jordans. I like to wear Jordans. So Jordans is a talented basketball player lately. He has been crying incredibly weight, anxiety, and performance of presence of coaching and fear. Disappointing his family during the games, he jumps high and scores points, but emotionally he feels pulled downwards by his worries. These emotion gravity waves begin affecting everything around him. The basketball connection. When Jordan misses a shot, he becomes frustrated. His frustration change how he communicates with his teammates. He stops and passes the ball. He stops and passes the ball to himself. Like waves spreading across the waters after stone thrown. His emotional state spreads the words through his team. Teammates become less trusting. Communication breaks down. Team chemistry weakness, and everybody feels tense. Right. So the impacts of relationship is away from basketball. Jordan's relationship are affected too. His partner notices distance after the game. His friends feel like he always have distraction. His family sees him becoming ignorant and withdrawal. And the thing about it is that the pressure that he experienced that creates emotional waves that may know the source of impacts. That the challenges that even works the way of stress, depression, anxiety, and burning out and creating raffles of events throughout relationships. Common signs involving increasing confidence in loved ones' withdrawal. But the one thing about it is that the structure of activities, developing activities emotional and feeling understood alone and reducing trust and connection. Turning the game around. Jordan evenly talks about counseling and learning healthier coping strategies. And write these coping strategies down. Meaningful before game, honesty conversation with teammates, sharing feelings with family, setting up goal and performance and expectation, reconciling self worth and not determining wings of losing. And the thing about it is that as a mental health improved, gravity changes. Instead of spreading the tent of confidence, it's about trusting connection of closing, trusting the connection. So the closing message is just gravity, influence just every movement in basketball, mental influence of every relationship, the emotion energy that carries the rifles outwards to affect teammates and friends and partners and friends that reconcile of those waves and learn to manage them and that can strengthen both performance and relationship. But a key takeaway is this: strong mental health does not just help athletes play better, it helps them connect better with people who matters the most. But in building a basketball wellness app, we're gonna be building up a basketball wellness app, training, health, recovery, shopping, community features into one platform. And the one thing we're gonna be doing the app idea is Hoop Well, Basketball Life Wellness, Court Fit, Hope Health, Basketball Mind and Body, and Bounce 360. The code will feature basketball training, wellness, health, recovery center, performance dashboard, shopping section. Also community features, premium features like AI coaching, and the revenue streams, monthly subscriptions, product monthly price commission, sponsor athlete partnership, and training session and team management. And we're gonna be doing home training, wellness, shopping, community progress, and profile. You have to create a profile with this app, and the app will be sell. You could go on Android or Apple Store to get the app. We actually gonna be in process of the making an announcement of the app on the day of the event on at M&M. So we're gonna be doing that. So the unique feature of game day mode is about training track hypertension before game, warming up timer, pre-game nutritional checklist, and focus on meditation and post-game recovery plan and performance reviews. This would position the app to complete basketball lifestyle ecosystem rather than just training app. So this is what we're gonna be doing. As far as this will be the flyer that's gonna be posted on this episode of the show. So if you guys could see it right there. So this will be the episode for the show. So let's continue. Let's talk real quick because I like to talk. And let's go. We're gonna before we're gonna go over some new shows ideas. So this will be the plan that we are looking into for the Basketball Wellness LLC, and that's the name of the company. That's the name of my franchise, and it's a company developing building fund program, and the mission is to communicate and improve and develop in housing, and also it supports lifestyle, beauty, and also it also community wellness and transportation, community tours and economic development and film production, media production. And we're gonna be touring around Brooklyn. We're gonna be touring around Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan, Staten Island, and other expansion areas, as well as the Cayman Island, Caribbean Island international partnership with housing, wellness, and youth development. And this is what it's about. It's about creating a team. It's also about building up a wellness that we could do. And also, we're gonna be doing a lot of stuff that's coming up in the Manhattan neighborhood Nichols that we're gonna be working with, and I'm gonna be working with the team to make sure this happens. We're gonna make sure this is gonna be happening, and we're gonna be creating a goal where people will realize that when we're creating a timeline and what we're doing and how we're gonna do it, right? So let's go into this deep, right? So I'm gonna get up real quick and I'm gonna do this, right? So with this outline of what we're doing, as we could see at this outline what we're doing, right? So we're actually doing something that's more as you can see, this is what we're doing here. This is the front of it, and look at the back, right? So this is what it is, right? So I'm gonna sit back down. Like I like to sit back down, right? So you guys can see my face, right? Yeah. So this will be the first ever of this what we looking at, right? So we actually going to be talking the next episode will be the children episode where I'm going to be inviting the kids to come in the studio. And if you have kids and you want them to be a part of this brand, I want you the guys to realize this episode will be very, very good because I'm going to invite the kids to come and express themselves, and they're going to be modeling, they're going to be doing some performances, I tell you, man. I tell you, it's gonna be a fun activity, man. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be awesome. And I actually have about two guests gonna be on the show. About two guests, and the first guest we're gonna be talking more about, mental health wise, and building up and rebranding. And this is what it is. It's about building and rebranding yourself. And we're gonna be doing that for us to be able to gain wealth as mentality wealth and mental health wealth, right? So this is what it is about. It's about building up your mental health. It's about structuring your balance. It's about understanding the growth about it and understand what your features and what is it that you're up to do and what is it that you're gonna accomplish. One thing that I accomplished the most of building mental health and gravity is that when we build up ourselves, we also develop a way of thinking and how we think and how we actually meditate and how we grow, right? And the thing about it is, I grow on levels, and I grow on levels and I arrive in stages. And one of the things that we have to understand in mental health is about building up your identity and finding your identity, and whatever your identity is, and whatever your growth is for you to find your identity and what your mental health is. And what are we doing as building up your identity? It's about promoting yourself and to learn how to gasper what it is that you are thankful for and you're most likely grateful for in life. And sometimes in life is more about structure and more about defining your balance of life and also the truth. And what is my truth? And what is your truth? And what is everybody's truth? My truth in gravity is that relationship is more about learning my thoughts and understand who I am and what I'm gonna do with it. And sometimes when you learn your thoughts, you gotta know how to correct yourself in a better diversity. And what is diversity? Is about diversity about making a change and making a difference of your career. And whatever your career is whatever your mental health is, right? So this is what we promote yourself to do. It's about learning the truth and learning your facts of life and developing yourself in one direction. And when we develop ourselves, we have to learn how to divide the patterns and principles of what your precepts are. And whatever your precepts are is whatever you choose to love and who you choose to divide yourself into. And this is what it is. One of the things I divide in myself is that when you build up your patterns, you more have to divide your principles into your patterns. And one of the things is that you can say I could develop my teaching and my understanding my teaching, but if my teaching ain't right, then my preaching ain't right. You know what I'm saying? If my revelation ain't right, then I'm not right. You know what I'm saying? But if my creativity is right, then I'm right. If my creativity is wrong, then I'm not right. You know what I'm saying? So we have to understand what is it that you have to be grateful of, and this is what it is. It's about you. It's about learning your thoughts and how to change that. I could be Muhammad Ali right now and try to do the that everybody was fighting. I could be the Kung Fu Panda sitting back and relaxing. I could be doing my little Kung Fu Panda, and I'm not doing that though. I'm not gonna do the Kung Fu Panda. You know what I mean? No, no, we ain't doing that. But we're gonna be doing like more like community talk. And one of the things of the community talk that we talking about, because I was gonna send the information to the Eminem people, the lady that I was talking to, and she and I were connecting a lot. So yeah, so one of the things I want to do for the event is that when you guys come in, you're gonna be greeted. You're gonna be registered. We're gonna register your name and everything like that, and we're gonna greet you. I'm gonna meet you and greet you at the door, and you're gonna come in, and then we're gonna have somebody gonna seat you. Like I like to do this. Like a usher gonna seat you down, and we're gonna have a little event, and then the community talk start up with me and Neffy walking together, and it's gonna be more like we're gonna be walking in together, and we're gonna sit on stage, and we're gonna be sitting beside each other, and we're gonna be talking about like a lot of people ask us like we're gonna be talking about a lot about. I'm gonna share with you my testimony, I'm gonna show you my testimony and how I found basketball wellness and how that helped me grow as far as delivering my life as to like connecting my life in basketball. In how I met Neffy, how Neffy inspired me to, my mom and Neffy actually inspired me to do the show, and how Neffy inspired me to do everything. I try my best not to like get into the full. She don't want me to get into the whole details, but she just want me to say a little bit of it. So I'm gonna say she don't mind me saying a little bit of it, right? You don't mind, right? Okay, so all right, so I met Neffy, and I think I met Neffy around the time. I met Neffy around, I think it was July 1st. June 30th, I met Neffy. June 30th, 2012, I met Neffy at a grocery store. I was just, I was in a relationship with my ex-girlfriend, my ex-fiance at the time, Treasure. I was in a relationship with my ex-fiance at the time. And, I was going through a deep depression at the time when I was going through it, my relationship with Treasure. I was going through it hard, feel me? Hard. And I cheated on Treasure. Like, to be honest with you, she don't know. I did cheat on her with Neffy at the time. When me and Treasure we were separated at the time. When I met Neffy, me and Treasure were separated. We were separated at the time because we was not legally, we wasn't really married, but we separated at the time. And I met somebody else while we were dating, and she didn't like that. She got jealous. Treasure got jealous. She was like, "Oh, you met somebody, this and that," and she was getting off the chain. She was off the wall, and she started like she got upset with me because I was dating somebody else, and she didn't want me to date somebody else. She wanted me all to herself. I said, no, 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 girl, I said, no, 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 hell, no, 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 yeah. So I met Neffy at the grocery store, and I started going through my old self. I walked up to her. I said, do you do hair? I asked her a question. And the first question I asked her, I said, do you do hair? And she said, yeah. I said, I just need a couple of cornrows in my hair. How much you charge? She said $10. I said, I'm coming by the salon to get my hair done. I need to get it washed and cornrowed because I was gonna cornrow my hair because I was decided to I wanted to cornrow my hair to make it like an afro puff, like a little puff, like puff puff, right? Because I was in the process of cutting the size of my hair to make it a mohawk cut, right? So I was decided to cut my hair, and back in 20, I was decided to pull it out and just cut it, like cut it, and at the time when I asked her to do my hair, she started braiding my hair and shit like that, and I started putting up my hair one. So I'm saying I wanted to cut it because I was in the process of cutting it too. I wanted to change, like I was on a change of my life, and Neffy was still dating somebody else while I was seeing her. So she broke up with the person while I was seeing her. And one of the person that she used to date was one of my cousins. She used to date on my aunt Lily's cousin, right? And that was my cousin too. Yeah. So she used to date my cousin, and one of my cousins, right? Let me just say it. One of my cousins that I grew up with over by Albemarle Road. I grew up with my cousin's name was Anne-Marie and Ashley and Tina and Romaine. I grew up with them I grew up with them, right? So when I grew up with them, I used to go to their house my mom used to drop me over there every other week. She used to drop me there when she was going to work, and I used to go with Auntie Lee to the salon, right? So she used to date one of my cousins. His name was Sean. She used to date a guy named Sean, and me and him we had a beef. We had a beef, like a hard beef, right? But the thing about the beef was we squashed the beef and we resolved the issues because we don't want the issue to escalate. Right? So when I found out that Neffy got pregnant I found out that she got pregnant around January and December. She conceived around January, December. And when I found out that she was pregnant, I didn't know until she was 5 months. I didn't know that she was pregnant until she was 5 months. And when Bosoman was born, I held Bosoman for the first time. And when I held him, I was crying. I was like, yo, that kid looked just like me, the face, whatever, like that. And the last episode, I posted his picture on my episode. You guys could see the face, right? So the face, right? So when he was a baby, I held him as a child. I'm like, yo, that looked like my son, And I didn't say anything, I didn't say that, he looked just me. I noticed it that he looked just like me, And no, like the thing about it, Neffy wanted it to keep it private because she didn't want me to blah blah out, And the thing about it was when I met her, she was not pregnant at the time, but she became pregnant like around July, no, like around December and January she got right, and then she had Bosoman in September. And when Bosoman came on, he was about 2 weeks old, and I held him in my arms when he was 2 weeks old. Actually, Lisa, her aunt, held him, and then I came downstairs and I was at the salon. And I held Bosoman, Malachi. I held Malachi and Bosoman in my arms. I'm like, yo, listen. I said these kids look up to me as a pops figure. And I look at life as a perspective of what it is, And this is what relationship is about. A relationship is about gaining trust, and trust in that relationship. It's about learning how to talk and learning how to develop a plan in your life. And this is what it was. It was developing the plan, and for me to gain more respect in what it is that I had to do, right? So Neffy and I we were friends at the time, and then we started flirting with each other at the salon, and it was kind of like, and then no, and then we became friends, and then we became boyfriend and girlfriend at the time, and then that was what it was. But at the end of the day, it was a plan that we had in life that we could build and that we could develop. So that's it for the mental health show today. And I said next time we're gonna be on here, we're gonna talk some more. So we're gonna be out here. Next episode we're gonna be airing at M&M, and make sure you catch the episode. And I hope that you enjoy the rest of your night. And I'm out.